Nobody messes with someone who answers like this. Not because they're louder, but because they're smarter. Think about the person who provokes you. They interrupt you. They talk over you. They dominate the moment with noise and somehow walk away feeling like they won. Now imagine the opposite. You don't raise your voice. You don't explain yourself. You don't get pulled into their chaos. You say one sentence, the right one. Calm. Precise. Intelligent. And suddenly, they feel uncomfortable. They lose their footing. They lose control. They run out of words. In this video, I'll give you 5 smart replies that shut anyone down without insults, without drama, and without sacrificing your dignity. They work with a boss, a difficult family member, an arrogant coworker, especially with someone trying to manipulate you. And listen carefully, reply number 3 doesn't just stop the argument, it flips the entire power dynamic. It forces respect, or distance. Stay until the end, because once you start using these with calm confidence, something strange happens. People start choosing their words more carefully around you. The mistake most people make. Most people think the goal is to win the argument. So they fight for the last word. They raise their voice. They over-explain. They prove, defend, perform. But the other person isn't arguing to understand. They're arguing to dominate. That's why the loudest person often wins, in the moment, not because they're right, but because they're willing to be chaotic. Stoicism teaches a different kind of power. Not the power to crush. The power to remain unshaken. Epictetus said it's not events that disturb us, but our judgment of them. Marcus Aurelius described the steady mind as a rock, waves strike it endlessly, yet it never moves. Seneca warned that anger is temporary madness, and madness always regrets what it says. So these aren't comebacks. They're spoken boundaries. Controlled sentences that protect your peace and expose disrespect without aggression. One rule before we begin. These replies only work if your tone matches your control. Delivered with rage, they become sarcasm. Delivered with fear, they become permission. The power is calm. The power is precision. Reply 1, I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Some people are addicted to volume. They interrupt. They talk over you. They flood the conversation so you can't even finish a thought. They expect you to submit, or explode. If you explode, you've entered their arena. This sentence is how you exit that arena while remaining standing. Meeting. Family argument. Workplace debate. You pause. Relax your posture. Hold eye contact. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. That line forces a silent comparison. Everyone notices the difference between emotional noise and inner strength. And if they keep shouting, they shrink. Because now it's clear. Their volume isn't confidence, it's insecurity in armor. Reply 2, the way you're speaking says more about you than it does about me. Some people don't attack ideas. They attack dignity. Sarcasm. Mockery. Small humiliations disguised as jokes. This line is a mirror, not a weapon. You're not insulting them. You're not defending yourself. You're refusing to absorb what doesn't belong to you. Delivered calmly, it strips the insult of oxygen. Because insults only work when the target accepts them. Marcus Aurelius said the best revenge is not to become like the person who wronged you. This is you protecting your character. You can't control what they say. You control what it means. And that freedom unsettles them. Reply 3, we can talk when we can do it with respect. This is the one manipulators hate. Some conversations aren't conversations, they're traps. Interruptions. Twisted words. Escalation designed to provoke a reaction. Then when you react, they blame you. This line breaks the loop instantly. Not a complaint. Not a plea. A condition. We can talk when we can do it with respect. Now the conversation shifts. It's no longer about the topic, it's about the minimum standard required for the conversation to exist. If they continue being disrespectful, they expose themselves. If they calm down, they step into your frame. Either way, you win without force. Don't explain it. Reply
Don't
4.
justify it.
I'm not going to continue
It's
this
a locked
conversation.
door.
There's a moment when you realize the other person isn't listening. They're feeding on conflict. Most people stay because they want closure. But you don't get closure from someone who thrives on chaos. This line is a clean exit. No drama. No apology. No negotiation. I'm not going to continue this conversation. And you disengage. Leaving is not weakness. It's leadership over your attention. Your attention is currency. Spend it wisely. Reply 5, that's your view. I respect it, but I don't share it. Not every disagreement is an enemy. Sometimes it's someone close who insists you adopt their beliefs. This sentence holds your ground without war. You heard them. You didn't attack. You didn't move. That's emotional independence. Seneca warned that living for approval is a miserable life. This line breaks that chain. Final lesson. Words matter. Delivery matters more. Sometimes silence is stronger. Sometimes the pause is the reply. Sometimes walking away without announcement is the highest intelligence. But when you speak, speak like someone who owns their inner world. Let these become reflexes. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you're speaking says more about you than it does about me. We can talk when we can do it with respect. I'm not going to continue this conversation. That's your view. I respect it, but I don't share it. When you stop reacting the way people expect, the power dynamic shifts. Not because you became aggressive, but because you became harder to manipulate. And that calm? That presence? It can't be bought.